Here's a look at a recap of your markets on this Thursday, the 31st day of July. Start off with the good news. It's much cooler outside today than it has been for several days, so we'll sure take that. As we talked about this morning, those cattle futures just kind of tanked today. We'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. Saw a little bit of feed yard trades start to develop, and we'll talk about that here shortly too. Before we get into all that, though, I want to remind everyone, Joplin Regional Stockyards is holding a special cow replacement sale. That'll get kicked off here not too long after the recording of this report. That sale's supposed to start at about 4:30, expecting about 700 to 800 head there tonight. About the only auction barn around the state today that had enough feeders to report was Mid-Missouri Stockyards in Phillipsburg. They're still going there, but getting awful close to being done. Going to have about 850 head. A few of the sales that we've seen, some 5 to 6 weight steers, 396 to 419. A load of 697 pound steers, 370, 350. A part load of 825 pound steers down in Lebanon, 335. Taking a look at the box beef cutout values, choice at 361.32 down 67, select at 341.37 up 46. Those values based on 109 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. A choice select spread at $19.95. Negotiated feedlot trade had just over 11,000 head reported at the 2 o'clock cutoff time. Texas has reported 863 head now, all at 235. Kansas, just over 3,200 head. The live FOB sells at 235. A few live dress sells at 240. Iowa's reported just over 1,000 head from 240 to 245. The dress sales have been anywhere from 382 with a few all the way up to 390, but that was a very limited number. Most of those sales so far have been reported at 383. Nebraska's reported just over 2,900 head so far. The live sales at 243 to 245. The dress sales at 383. Taking a look at those futures markets on the Mercantile Exchange, and before anybody just absolutely loses their mind here, got to look at the bigger picture a little bit, and remember we've had a lot of days of some really strong gains, and if you look at these losses from today, that really just puts us right back even with where we ended the week last week on Friday. The feeder cattle contracts, some of the deferred months might be a few cents lower, but for the most part, the live cattle contracts and that nearby August feeder cattle, they're basically right in line with where we ended last Friday, erasing all of this week's gains. Today, August live cattle down $5.30 at $227.77. October at $223.15 down $6.57. December $223.92 down $5.97. Feeder cattle, the August 331.37, that's exactly where it ended the week last Friday. That's down $7.57 for the day. September 331.55 down $8.20. October 330.17 down $8.37. Now those tracking measures that we follow, they're still proving that cash is king. Although the receipts have been light around the state due to the extreme heat through the auction barns around the state of Missouri, that's Missouri Stocker formula. New record once again today at 406.04. That's based roughly on a 500-pound steer. And then the CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index up through the 12-state feeding region based on an 800-pound steer. It set a new record today as well, 335.01. Lean hogs for August was up a dime, 107.12. October 89.57 up 37, and December 81.72 up 52. Turning our attention to the grain markets, at the elevators around the state today, the beans had some wide trends as some of those elevators once again adjusting some basis today. Soybeans were 5 to 21 lower. Wheat was unchanged. We are starting to lose a lot of the current spot wheat bids as many of those elevators starting to try to figure out how to make some kind of room for this record corn and bean crop that everybody keeps still talking about. And even though it's still a while before any combines really get in the field and we can prove that that's actually going to come true or not, corn bids today were mixed, 3 lower to 4 higher. At the elevators around the state on Thursday, St. Louis corn 412 to 413, Kansas City at 401. Soybean bids in St. Louis 979, Kansas City 976 to 989. Wheat bids in St. Louis 496 to 499. None of the reporting elevators in Kansas City currently have a cash bid for wheat. On the Board of Trade today, corn contracts September 394 up 2 1/4, December up 1 1/2 at 413 3/4, March at 430 1/2 up a penny. Soybeans for August down 6, 961 3/4, September 969 1/2 down 6 1/4, November new crop beans at 989 1/4 down 6 1/2. Wheat for September a 1/2 cent lower, 523 1/4, December 542 1/2 down 1 3/4, and March at 560 3/4 down 2 1/4. Soybean meal for August 261.80 a ton, up $1.10. August soybean oil 55.58 a hundredweight, down 32 cents. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's your closing markets for Thursday. This is Tony Hancock.